I wanted to do a deep dive into adrenal health. I feel like we've touched on it and you've heard me talk about it again and again, that really kind of no matter what it is that we are experiencing, it really goes back to adrenal health and gut health. And so I wanted to give adrenal health due justice. So let's get started. So what do we want to talk about today? I want to address the things that I hear most often. Here are just a few. I feel tired, but yet I'm buzzing at the same time. Sometimes I feel a little bit snappy or hangry, that kind of like hungry, angry, irritated. I feel like I'm not responding to stress well and a bit more agitated. I wake in the morning feeling tired. I'm starting to lose some hair. I'm starting to gain some hair around here, maybe a little bit on my abdomen. I'm noticing new, really intense cravings, particularly salt. Sometimes I feel dizzy. I feel like my hormones are out of balance. Let me keep going, because all of these symptoms we can address through adrenal health. So I want to do a deep dive into adrenal health, and in the journey of that, kind of address all of the stuff I just talked about. But it's really about underlying cause that needs to be addressed. And so the adrenals are that underlying cause. Same with gut health. The gut health is the underlying cause. You don't necessarily walk around going, I have a gut dysbiosis and I feel it happening right now versus, like I have a toothache, I feel that happening right now. That's very different, okay? So gut and adrenal are generally those underlying things that we want to create a lifestyle of addressing for the sake of a lifestyle and a lifetime of feeling more vitality in our bodies, knowing that it can take time. And I'm going to talk a little bit about like how much time is fair to expect based on where you are in your adrenal health. What do we want to cover? What do I want to cover today? I want to talk about what are the stages of adrenal fatigue? What are some of the most common symptoms, and kind of go into kind of breaking apart each of those symptoms. What are some of the long-term consequences? Such as, I'll tell you right now, if a woman has adrenal fatigue or adrenal just exhaustion over time, some long-term consequences are things like breast and lung cancer mortality, PCOS, cardiovascular mortality, chronic migraines, MS. Those are from the conference that I went to through the Institute of Functional Medicine on hormones. They're like, there is direct research linking those things to chronically overdoing our adrenal system, and specifically remember the HPA axis. So one thing to keep in mind is if cortisol is increased, it decreases the production of progesterone. So cortisol is kind of like a progesterone steal, okay? So once again, if you have low progesterone levels, often that's going to give you a estrogen dominant scenario. It's going to impact a lot of the things that we've talked about. And if you have questions, you can always go back and look through that hormone module to go, wait, what is progesterone again? What does it do? So what is adrenal fatigue? Symptoms show up after adrenals have been overworked for too long. Remember, adrenals help us to handle stress. That could be something like imminent danger. So, you're about to get hit by a car and you're riding your bike. That's imminent danger. It could be imagined stress, such as a dream that you're waking from, or you're watching a scary movie, or the news is on in the background. It could be anticipated stress. You're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm almost to Thanksgiving and I know what that's going to be like when all the family's together and my Aunt Sally, all the stress that is created in that. And so what happens is, as we are perpetually receiving the onslaught of either imminent danger, imagined stress, or anticipated stress, our adrenals just simply get exhausted. And remember, it's not just the adrenals, it's the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the adrenals. They're all having a play in the game here. So for even women who just simply overanalyze everything, you have a strong need to control, you're always in your head, that even is going to be taxing your adrenals. And so what happens is, over time, the adrenals just get tired. And there's 3 main stages of adrenal fatigue. We're going to talk about it. So, and remember that the HPA axis is also communicating with the thyroid and the ovaries. And so often what happens is you have a thyroid issue, most commonly hypothyroidism. I want to make sure that you really hear this. For you or a woman that you know, if she is suffering from hypothyroidism, most likely she has been in some form or stage of adrenal fatigue for a while and just didn't acknowledge it. And now that pituitary is saying, I'm too tired. And so it's not sending out the TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone, in the right amount. Let's talk a little bit about symptoms, some of the most common symptoms specifically around adrenal health. So first, waking in the morning feeling tired or having that kind of afternoon slump. I also put in the same category insomnia. So the nice thing about this is if that's all it is, generally speaking, if you really do some lovely adrenal care and gut care, you can have a pretty quick response. When you start saying no, you start allowing your body to rest. It's saying it's tired. Allow your body to rest. Prioritize self-care, right? Really allow that extra gut health nutrients to go in where you're adding your probiotics and your prebiotics and you're taking out those pro-inflammatory foods and super flooding your gut with the foods that your gut loves. Give it some time, okay? But it's not quick, meaning like within a few weeks, I'm feeling better. But generally something, if it's just this, you can expect 2-3 months. I would hope that you're already starting to have some difference, especially you're doing your adaptogen elixirs on a regular basis. Maybe you're doing some of the Shinrin Yoku, you're doing the forest bathing. Okay, now let's talk about cravings. Cravings, maybe it's you crave sweets, maybe you crave salty, maybe you crave simple carbohydrates, maybe you even just crave cheese, whatever it is. Any really strong craving is generally something going on. Either your body is lacking some minerals or some nutrients that it's trying to fit in, or your blood sugars are not stable throughout the day, and so your cravings are kind of all over the place, or your adrenals are really needing some love. So where are the cravings coming from? Okay. Yes, you want to make sure that you're getting a good balance of protein and fat and fiber throughout the day, but also making sure that's the macronutrients, your calories. What about your micronutrients? Once again, are you getting in every color every day? All right. Are we getting the right minerals from the food that we're eating? Is the produce that you're buying grown in soil that's rich? Can you get it locally? Is it grown? Is it organic, right? Are you taking your Juice Plus every day if you've decided to take Juice Plus? And if you're craving salt, sometimes your adrenals just really need some salt. So add a pinch of Himalayan sea salt into your water every day, throughout the day, and try that for a month or two and see something that simple really makes a difference. We want to keep our blood sugar steady, partially because it helps our nervous system ground. It allows our sex hormones to actually be produced, okay? When you're in this blood sugar up and down, your insulin's up, your sugars are down, it's also impacting your hormones. Your hormones are all over the place. So the more that we can keep the stable blood sugars throughout the day, it's going to affect your mood, it's going to affect your cravings, it's going to affect your willpower, it's going to affect your hormone balance, and it's going to affect your adrenals so that they don't feel like they're in survival. And once again, it's not about grams and calories and numbers. It's really making sure that we're having a plant-heavy, fiber-rich, frequent snacks throughout the day. It doesn't have to be large meals, but we want frequent, small protein that can come from plants, a little bit of meat, as long as it's quality meat, that's fine. And we're wanting to make sure that we're getting those quality micronutrients in every color, every day, and every meal has veggies. That includes your breakfast. You know, if you're making a smoothie in the morning, the smoothies are such a great way. You can sneak in broccoli and cauliflower and kale and spinach and any, we make the snack trays with the muffin tray, anything left over, that snack tray the day before, you throw in your smoothie, right? It's such a great way to sneak in your veggies. Okay, let's talk a little bit about digestive upset and digestive issues. Gassiness, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, abdominal pain. When you look at the Bristol stool chart that I shared in the gut health module, the different types of poop, right? What does your poop look like? Are there digestive issues? Is there underlying autoimmune conditions? Whatever that might be. So how often are you having bowel movements? Do you feel like you've fully emptied, or do you feel like you have to continue to have more bowel movements throughout the day and you never really feel like you're completely emptying? Okay, that's all underlying digestive stuff. It can also impact your hair, skin, and nails. Obviously, if there's malabsorption, you're dealing with byproducts of deficiency, like actual nutrient deficiency, and it's also going to impact your mental health, partially because of nutrients, partially just because of how the gut works, but also remember, many of the feel-good hormones are coming from your gut. Remember the serotonin conversation? Okay, so the adrenals are playing a factor here, because remember, if you're in fight, flight, or freeze and your body thinks it's being chased by a lion, is digestion important? No, it shuts down digestion so that you can flee, okay? So the more we can do the stress reduction, the digestive upset is then addressed. All right, let's talk a little bit about weight gain. So as a result of poor gut health and thyroid dysfunction, due to your adrenals not being cared for, as well as hormonal imbalances that have been impacted by this lack of adrenal care and gut care and liver care and thyroid care. Do you hear what I'm saying? What ends up happening is now we've got this excess weight that just simply won't come off. So I love this quote by Jen Pike. We don't lose weight to get healthy. We get healthy and the weight goes. All right, so this is not about a weight loss program. This is not about with the intention of going on a diet. This is about the intention of creating vitality and longevity so that we can feel good in the future decades of our life. And when we're doing that, by caring for our gut, our adrenals, our liver, and our thyroid, the excess weight goes. And then we are feeling good inside. All right. And the focus is about feeling good inside. Let's talk about increased illness due to immune system suppression. Remember, fight, flight, or freeze, immune system is shut down. Not important if we're simply surviving, right? So often women who have some adrenal fatigue tend to get sick. Maybe they get sick all the time. Maybe you get sick every year. Maybe you feel wired all the time. What's the best thing that we can do for this is simply rest and recover before we ramp up. If you are getting sick often, my friend, you have to rest. If you are getting cold sores and herpes outbreaks and sore throats and flus and sickness, you have to rest. You have to look at your calendar and say no. Block out time every day that is simply you prioritizing you. Maybe not even going on a walk with a friend. If you're going to walk with that friend and you're focusing on them, or you're needing to use that time to purge verbally and complain, no. This is a time every day where you are prioritizing quiet, stillness, maybe in nature, maybe just in your bedroom, maybe in a cave. But it is rest and recover before you try to ramp it up again. And so sleep. Allow yourself to sleep. Okay, let's talk a little bit about autoimmune conditions. So autoimmune conditions are lots of them. There's endometriosis, thyroiditis, eczema, Crohn's, fibromyalgia. I mean, so many. Everybody's talking about these and those autoimmune conditions. So once again, where do we go? We go back to gut health and adrenal health. Of course, within this course, I have to talk about hormone imbalances, right? That's really important. Maybe you're one of those who has suffered with PCOS or painful menses or menopause, irregular cycles, uterine fibroids, estrogen-dependent cancers like breast cancer, ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, colon cancer. Okay, this is really important that we tie this back. So remember the HPA axis. Pituitary is in charge of LH, FSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. So the adrenals and the ovaries are constantly communicating with one another. So if you would like to address hormonal imbalances, what do? You take care of your gut, you take care of your adrenals, and you take care of your liver. I think I've said this enough. Let's talk a little bit about mood swings, snappiness, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, the mood conditions. You might have seen a provider and they want to give you a medication. They want to give you an antidepressant. They want to put you on birth control pill. They want to shove the symptoms back into your body. Okay. Quiet down, body. You're okay. Don't make a fuss. Don't express yourself. Don't use these signs outside that something is going on internally. Your check engine light is on here. Let me just take a hammer to it. See, check engine light's out. Okay. That doesn't mean that medications have their place. In some scenarios, maybe you're going to try a medication temporarily while you're addressing other stuff. Okay. You're going to find your way there. But when you look at the amount of psychiatric medications that are prescribed, it's, in my opinion, asinine. So try a new type of provider, maybe one who doesn't quickly go to an allopathic, let's fix your symptoms with a prescription. We've talked a little bit about the REST program. I'm really excited about REST. Dr. Mitra Ray and Dr. Cynthia Scholes put that together. It's kind of non-invasive brain surgery to go back in and reprogram those traumatic memories. So let me know if you have questions about that, and I can send you information about the program that they're doing. And I'm in the process of getting my certification there. So hopefully one day soon I'll be able to even offer up a REST session. Your body, you only get one, right? And you have it for the rest of your life. So this is about 3-month commitment, 6-month commitment, 3-year commitment, 60-year commitment, all right? All of this stuff is a commitment over time. And so pat yourself on the back that you've done this course. Hopefully you really feel like you have a foundation now of understanding and some real practical skills to move forward into the future long term. But also let's have a conversation about the masterclass extension and continuing the deep dive. There's so much more to the conversation. And obviously, I've said this before, I have to say it again, take out your endocrine disruptors. If you've done a good job so far at starting the journey of tackling one area of your household, well, maybe it's time this week, try another area of your household. Okay, if you've tackled your shampoos, okay, can now you do how you store your water? Or maybe you've tackled the kitchen and you've taken plastics out. Well, now how about your laundry detergent and taking out any fragrances? Let's tackle it bit by bit and focus on getting those endocrine disruptors out of our bodies. And then the last thing I want to say about adrenal health is, in the conversation of rest, chew our food, okay? Chew slowly. As you're eating, each bite, they say, make sure you chew it at least 30 times. Allow your body to calm down so it's not overdoing it and in a stress response as you're eating, so that you can truly receive the nourishment from the food that you're eating.